Don't send your firearms through these carriers if you're going to be mailing them. I'm going to be sitting down to talk about the do's and don'ts of shipping firearms, whether long arms, handguns, as well as maybe a couple war stories if we're lucky, from noted firearms expert Mike Kwiatkowski from fflexpert.com. So guys, let's get into it. So Mike, there's not 100% certainty on some of these numbers here, but we do know that when we're talking about shipping things interstate, so from one state to the next, there's approximately 13,000 thefts that occur every single year in the United States from shipment as a result of people going through FedEx, UPS, USPS, in other words, the Postal Service. What would you tell people are some pretty easy do's or don'ts about how to handle this and not be one of those 13,000?
If we're talking solely avoiding theft, the first thing to understand is that you need to package the firearm correctly. Do not spare the bubble wrap. Do not spare the newspaper. I would have it in a case. I would have it inside of a box. That box should not just be whatever you found laying around from your Amazon order last week. Make it a quality box, don't spare the tape, and get it truly wrapped up right. I can't tell you how many times I received firearms when I was in the business with a barrel, stock, or grip sticking out of one side. The next thing is that many of these shipping companies do not have the world's greatest employees. Don't put anything, first of all, it's illegal to indicate on the outside of the box that there's a firearm inside. Second, do not put a name of, for example, ABC Gun and Pawn. Don't write that on there. You must ship to the address on the FFL, but there is nothing wrong with abbreviating it ABC, ABCG and P, something of that, or just simply ABC Pawn, which I wouldn't even advise. But keep it vague. That's the biggest thing for the addressing. But truly packaging. People are cheap. I get it. Shipping costs money. You're going to regret not spending the extra 10 or 20 bucks for if you get a garbage box where you don't pack it right and it comes out.
So I just want to take a moment and acknowledge the sponsor of today's video, Loaded and Safe Concealment, otherwise and perhaps better known as LAS Concealment. They've been making high quality holsters for both the casual daily carrier as well as the hardcore shooter and carrier, somewhat more like myself. They have precision formed Kydex gear, which starts from a 3D CAD file. They make proprietary moldings that are CNC machined to give their products a unique feel while raising the level of quality available. These holsters are combat tested by special forces operators in overseas operations. They offer both inside the waistband as well as outside the waistband being available. They have hundreds of color patterns, including some pretty interesting ones if you check it out on their website, as well as different material options and custom prints. They've got thousands of pistol and light magazine combinations available, and it's all made right here in the good old US of A. I can tell you that their holsters are in my regular lineup of firearms that I do rotate through on my daily carry, and I have some police officer friends who also vouch for them as well as their off-duty concealed carry options. So we just wanted to thank Loaded and Safe Concealment, LAS Concealment, for being the sponsor of today's video, and be sure to check them out on the internet. You and I were going over some statistics before we went live here, and I mentioned UPS, FedEx, and the Postal Service. Two of those are not places you generally want to be shipping through. Is that fair to say?
There certainly are better options than them, but I recognize for some people they may be the only options, especially in rural areas.
So the statistics that we're looking at are that the greatest proportion of reported theft or loss incidents involve FedEx, UPS. Together they comprise approximately 80%. They're equal at 39% of the pie of stolen firearms while in transit.
And to clarify, just to be quick, this is not of all firearms. This is just of who's responsible for the missing firearm.
Correct. So 39% each at FedEx and UPS, and then 13% for the post office. So the post office is 1/3 as likely to lose a firearm as compared to either UPS or FedEx. Does that mean that people, if given the choice, and if somebody just asks you the question, hey, Mike, who should I use? Are you going to try to lean them towards UPS maybe, or USPS?
I always advise the post office if it can be lawfully done, because there are rules ever since the Gun Control Act of 1968 regarding an unlicensed, that's someone who does not have an FFL, using the post office. FedEx, UPS, their theft problems were so bad that they started requiring overnight on handguns. That certainly raised the rates and can create truly horrendous shipping bills. But that was done, they said it was done for security. Well, that's because it was their employees who were causing the problem.
I guess that's still a security issue at the end of the day.
With UPS and FedEx, I have heard that they did that because their own employees were stealing. They were having trouble securing the firearms that were in transit. They've never come out and made that statement, and there's never been any proof about it, but that has been repeated numerous times. So I always encourage the post office. Far more secure, far less expensive. Unfortunately, far more rules.
Mike, crash course us. For somebody who's not an FFL, I know we have a really fun war story of yours coming up. But what's the crash course for folks who are not an FFL? How do you ship a rifle, a long arm? How do you ship a handgun?
For unlicensed individuals, you don't ship a handgun through the post office. Period. End of story. Long guns, not a problem. Rifles and shotguns can go through the post office. When it comes to NFA, post office, you need to pretend it's a long gun. So let's say you have an M16, a machine gun. It has a 20 or a 16-inch barrel. You can do that. I would strongly encourage registered mail for something that expensive. That's up to you. But if it has an 11.5-inch barrel, anything below 16, you have a problem. You can't do that. Now you're looking at UPS or FedEx. One of them, and I forget which right now, doesn't even allow machine guns. So just forget about it. Handguns, they'll take them. They must go overnight. And in practice, they're going to want to see the FFL of where they are shipping the firearm to. If you don't have that, you have a problem. These days, no longer being licensed, I'm going to a dealer and paying them to ship it for me, just because it's a lot less hassle.
Fair enough. And of course, it's always useful in those circumstances to try to negotiate with the dealer, or let's just say to clarify if this gets lost, who's this on? Because presumably you're going to be paying that dealer. So some free legal terms to throw out there are FOB, freight on board, shipping versus, buyer, receiver, all that kind of stuff. And that deals with who bears the liability if something is lost in transit. So
always insure.
Always insure. Mike, let's give the people what they want. What's your quick war story?
I have two quick ones I'll give you. Many, many years ago when I got my Uzi submachine gun, it is my understanding that it actually broke out of the box it was in, and it was spotted falling down, rolling back up, and falling down a conveyor belt in a package sorting area. I'm told that caused a lot of concern among the employees.
For those of you who don't know Mike, as I do, you have to appreciate how much of a Mike story that is, where just crazy, weird things happen that are entirely beyond his control. And I've just learned to accept the fact that this is just a Mike problem.
Here's another Mike problem. I was supposed to receive a registered NFA firearm. I'm not going to say what it was, but it was of high value. We're talking 5 figures. My licensed address was, we'll say, 123 South Main Street. I'm told that the thing arrived. Customer, where's my gun? I want to see it. I didn't get anything. Checked with the shipper. Oh no, it was sent to 123 North Main Street. And the difference between south and north in this particular municipality is going from a nice solid area to ghetto. Well, the shipper wasn't really willing to do much, so I called ATF. I'm a licensee. We have a missing item. I am obeying the law and reporting that it is missing. So I called my local ATF and I said, "Hi, I'm your SOT here." "Yes, how can we help you?" "I'm supposed to have this NFA firearm. It was going to my address. The shipper sent it to that address, but they substituted north for south." And there was this pause. "What?" I said, "Yes, you know that I'm at 123 South Main Street. This gun was dropped off on a porch at 123 North Main Street." "Who told you this?" I gave them the person's name. "Where do they work?" "Oh, they work for the shipper. They're down at the local terminal. They're there right now." "Really? Do you have a phone number?" "Yes." "We'll handle this." "Okay." About an hour later, I'm driving and my phone rang, and it was the mysteriously blocked number, which is ATF. "Are you at your office?" "Well, it can be. Why?" "We're on our way. We have your firearm." So I'm probably the only SOT that can say that I've accepted deliveries from UPS, FedEx, USPS, and ATF when a carload of 4 agents showed up, handed it to me, thanked me for my time, and were on their way after using the bathroom.
Well, you know, it's nice to hear that our tax dollars are doing something, and you know,
For all of the complaints that many people have, I must say they took care of me on that one instance.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Mike, thanks for coming in. And guys, for you in the comment section, if you want to know more about Mike, check him out at fflexpert.com to help you out with whether if it's dealing with the state's valuations or if you're an FFL or manufacturer, fflexpert.com, linked in the description box below. If you want Mike to come back, let us know by letting us know in the comment section below. Also hit the like button. Make sure the algorithm and myself and Mike know that, hey, this is worth your time and you want to see him back here. Post up your questions for Mike. Maybe I can lure him back in here. You never know. And your quote of the day is, when you have exhausted all possibilities, remember this: you haven't. From Thomas Edison. And it's true, because he went and asked Tesla, right? Again, thanks for Mike for coming in, and we will see you all in the next one.
Thank you for having me, and happy shipping.
Thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. If you enjoyed this one, please feel free to check out some of our other great content, and we'll see you in the next one.